Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Parables Podcast. Let's get right to it. I got my man Josh Numberz.
What's up,
I
bud?
appreciate you coming. Thank you for driving over to the studio.
No problem. We here, man. We here, you know?
Man, I appreciate you coming. Shout out to Bobby who did link us up.
Yes. I come up.
Yeah, he told me to reach out to you. And not going to lie, I did a little research on you.
Okay.
Kind of looked on the internet and see... I was happy to know that you're in the IE.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But here at the Parables Podcast, we really try to get to know you.
Okay.
Who you are, what you're about, and everything leading up to where you are today. And,
okay.
In your success. And obviously, I know that it's beyond that. I know that you're trying to do some impactful things, and I feel like we have some things in common.
Yes.
So it's going to be great. And in addition to that, like me and Josh were talking about before the recording, we actually do not know each other.
No, this is the first time.
Yeah, and those are always the best episodes, I gotta say, because it's just more authentic. The conversation's real, and as I get to know Josh, you guys get to know him as well.
Amen to that.
So let's go ahead and get right to it, man. Again, we want to get to know you. Let's talk about your upbringing, where you were born, and all that good stuff.
Where I was born. I was born in prison, Chino Prison.
Chino Prison, right here.
Yes, right here in Chino Prison. My mom was doing a 5-year term, and she had me. I think maybe I was 2 months. She had me. She was pregnant with me for 2 months, and then went in. So the 6 months later, or whatever, the 6-7 months later, I was born, and I was in prison. She was in prison when I was born. So she had to give me up, and that was like when you're a baby and you are taken away from your mother at that age. It's a very hard thing, because you have that connection with your mom. You know what I mean? And so for me, I lost that connection first time.
Instantly.
Yeah. Instantly. So I was able to be taken by my aunt and uncle. Okay. And at least that was some family members, right? And most people go into foster care or somewhere that they don't know anybody or don't have any family, and it's very hard on them. So I was taken by my aunt and uncle, 2 days old. I didn't have a name yet. So for about a month or so, I don't really know the time, I didn't have a name for it, but it wasn't until they went to church and I got my name, Joshua Jeremiah.
Dang, so you were nameless for about a month.
Yeah, I was nameless for about a month.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so they looked in the Bible and they were looking at names and they picked Joshua Jeremiah and then that was my name. So from then on, I was raised in church. I was raised in a Christian home, but I had foster kids with me. So my aunt and uncle were foster parents. So they always brought in foster kids that had problems. So growing up, I was around a lot of pain. Even though I had good parents, the kids that were around me molested, whatever reasons they had problems, it showed. And when we'd go out into public, they would either act out or I would share a room with one of them and they would piss the bed or, and they had the problems. And it was hard for me growing up because I wasn't able to bring people home from school, friends, girlfriends. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was embarrassed. Yeah. And it was something that I had to live with and learn to deal with at a young age. At 6 years old, my father got out of prison. And so when my father got out of prison, it was the first time I met him. I think I was 6 or 7. And at that age, he came and he pretty much took us for the weekend. And for the weekend, it was just supposed to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing.
This is the first time you've seen him
ever in my life.
Ever in your life. Okay.
And he did a term too. He was in prison too when I was born. Yeah. So at 7 years old, he came and I can remember the first time seeing him. He had tattoos on his arm, prison tats, and the prison tats were a naked woman. And that was the first time I ever seen a naked woman. Wow. At 7 years old, was on my dad's arms. Yeah. And which is kind of weird and different is the women that were on his arms were pictures of my mom. Yeah, so pretty crazy, right?
Did you figure that out at that age?
Later, no, not at that age.
Okay.
Later on in life, I asked them who were they, and it was pictures of my mom. They didn't look like her because they were prison tats. Yeah. So for me, it was it was kind of just like weird because that was the first naked woman I saw.
Yeah.
And the tattoos on them were pretty defined on spreading the legs open and you know what I mean. And you know, it's just a different lifestyle my father lived. So at 7 years old, he took us for a weekend, never brought us back.
Oh, okay.
So, and I had an older brother. We're both blood related.
Yeah.
Because I have 9 half brothers and sisters, and my mom was a prostitute. So every other brother and sister were Italian, black, Asian. I have a half black brother, half white sister. It's just a variety of half brothers and sisters. And he was the only one that was blood related to me. So he got taken that same weekend, supposedly. And I was 7, he was 11. And he never brought us back. Never brought us back. And that was another very hard situation in my life to experience, having a mom and a dad and being taken away from them.
You know, out of nowhere, just being stripped away from that household the only household you knew.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So being born, being stripped away.
Yeah.
Being 6 or 7, being stripped away. So we went to go live with my father then. He just got out of prison. Not a very good manly figure or even a father figure.
Yeah.
Was a known gang member for the Vagos, and he would go, and he was a sergeant of arms, so he would go and beat up people. And I could remember driving around with him, and we would stop at a certain place, and he'd say, "Wait in the car," and he would go in the house, beat up some people, come back out all bloodied, and that's all I can remember is just him bloodied up and wondering what he was doing at that time. But now I know, you know. And there was just different aspects of living with him where I had to experience very hard. They would build a bathroom for us in the garage because they didn't want us using their bathroom. And this was, you know, it'd be 20 degrees outside, right? And we would have to go out there to take a shower, to use the restroom in the middle of the night. And this was a distance from our room, you know, just because this is the type of people they were. They wanted to segregate us from what they were doing. And another incident, they would go out to eat and they would leave us in the car. Yeah. So they would go eat dinner while we would sit in the car watching them from the car. And then when we go back home, we got to eat our microwave dinners or our you know, cup of noodles.
Why would they you know, segregate you guys like that? Is it just so you guys wouldn't see the things they were doing, or?
To be honest with you, it could have been that, because there was a time where my dad would he was in prison his whole life too, in and out of prison. So when you were using the restroom, you could kind of care less of who's watching you. Yeah. Okay. So for him, he would always leave the door open, whether he was taking a shit or piss, you know? Yeah. So it was getting kind of weird. He was starting to shut the door, right? So when he started shutting the door, my stepmom got curious, and we were wondering, and what he was doing was started shooting up heroin again, because he was a heroin addict. And so that happened. And in between living there, going back to living there was a lot of hard times from I mean, we couldn't leave a hanger on the floor. If we leave a hanger on the floor, we'd get beat with it. You know, and there was times where my dad was making a paddle for himself, and for us, he was making a paddle for us to beat us with it. Yeah. And he was putting our name on one side. My brother's name is Fred, and he was putting his name on one side and putting Josh on the other. And as he's engraving the name, he slips and he cuts his whole hand open. So he had to go to the hospital, get stitches. I mean, the cut was really bad. He almost lost his hand. Wow. So, and he was, you know, in the process of making something to hurt us. Yeah. When, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can use your hand. He's a 6'3" man. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or a belt or something.
I'm pretty sure that would have been enough, right?
Yeah.
But he wanted to inflict more pain than really was necessary. So for me, it was I was walking on eggshells at 7, 8, 9 years old.
Very tough upbringing, sounds like.
Oh yeah, in and out of relationships with them. It was just a very different. Everybody has hard times and difficult times. Yeah. And it's your choices. It comes out to it, you know. What do you want to use it as? Yeah. Do you want to use it as a motivation? Or do you want to just, you know, use it as an excuse?
Do you think you identified that? Like, you know, you knew you had a choice in how you kind of respond to, you know, how you react to kind of your living situation? Because not all things are you could control, right? It
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like obviously your living situation you couldn't control.
Right.
Do you think you've identified that at such a young age where you were like, this sucks now, but I got to make something of myself, or
Right.
it won't always be like this.
Right. Well, for me, I looked at it like I looked at the people around me.
Okay.
Right. And the people around me were dirty, just not motivated, healthy in mind and spirit.
What city was this, by the way? Like where you started growing up with your dad?
Well, when I was born in Chino prison, and then my mom, my aunt and uncle, they raised me in Ontario for a little while.
Okay.
So I went to church there, and then and that's kind of why I got a good morals and good backing and just my whole thought. And the reason why I give so much, and there's a time when I was right before my dad took me away. There's a good story of it was Christmas time, Christmas Eve, and my neighbors had a break-in, right? And I was 5 years old, 6 years old, so I walked next door to go hang out with my friend, and the door was cracked open this much, and I knock on it, and it opens up even more. And I see a burglar in there, and the burglar sees me, and he's stealing all the presents, and he leaves, but he took everything. So all the presents were gone.
Yeah.
And I can always go back and relate to this because the next day Christmas comes around, and the presents, I didn't even open my presents. I went next door and gave it to them. You know what I mean? So that's how I am. That's how I always been. I'll get my shirt off my back because you know why? I know I can go get another shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it sounds like you had a solid foundation with your aunt and uncle.
Yes.
And then, you obviously went with your dad, or, he took you.
Yes.
And then from there, that's kind of where a lot of the hard times were.
Yes, very much so. In between that time was hard. And it and life's a roller coaster. So I could totally see it going up and down, up and down. And that's life in general.
Definitely.
You can't control some things, right?
Yeah.
You can't control some people. You're gonna get heartache. You're gonna get depressed. But you always gotta worry about your inner self, so you can focus on that. And if you can't focus on yourself and help yourself, you can't help other people.
Yeah.
So
it sounded like that you did identify it. You kind of recognized that at such a young age.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people at a young age, they're a little lost, right? They're still trying to figure out who they are. And I would imagine with all the hardships and stuff that were going on with you and your dad and your household, it was tough. I'm sure it was tough trying to recognize and identify like what's next for me. Was that something that you kind of...
Well, yeah, because then you have no guidance. You
Yeah.
have no one pushing you to strive to be better. I see a lot of people and their family and their friends and their, like, a perfect example is my wife. Her family, they're very family orientated.
Yes.
They can count on each other if they need each other. I don't have that. So for me, that was a big thing I was looking for. I was looking for a family I could be a part of. Christmas time, birthdays, whatever.
Kind of makes you more grateful and cherish those moments that you didn't have, right?
And that's what's kind of sad is when I would go around and seeing people that have that and they disrespect their fathers or their parents, and they're treating them wrong, and the parents are like, why is my kid acting this way when I'm here for him?
Yeah.
So you got that balance in life that you just try to figure out, and you're always trying to figure out that balance.
Yeah.
And you're always trying to figure out who you're supposed to be as a person. The hardest thing in life, I guess, is to find your purpose.
Definitely.
Just find purpose in life.
And everyone takes time to find that purpose. It seems like some people, could find it at such a young age. And there's people who don't even find it till like 40s, 50s.
Or not even at all. They die without even finding it.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. And sometimes it takes certain events, certain encounters, certain conversations, the most little thing, to finally find what it is. Did you find your purpose, I guess you could say, around that age?
No. It's crazy that you asked that, because I'm going to tell you right now, I barely found it at 33.
Nice.
Like, I've kind of broke that at 33 years old. I kind of was like, man, I know what I'm here for. Yeah. I could see it now. Now I could see it, because it's always been kind of blurry in me trying to find it. But now I see my purpose. I see why I'm here on earth. And it's crazy because I can go to, a psychiatrist, which a lot of things, people, if they have problems, if they can't talk to their wife or their father, or take the time and the money to go talk to someone, that one time that you can go talk to a psychiatrist or someone
to open up, yeah.
cry, let it out, be emotional, because everybody wants to be so damn hard, when they're not. You know what I mean? Because everybody has problems and everybody has emotional issues, relationship problems, and all this. And it's you opening up and realizing it and putting it out there in order to move on from it.
Yeah, there's definitely a therapeutic part to that outlet, right? Being able to talk about it, because obviously,
even this is a perfect example. What you're doing right now is a blessing for people. They got to understand they need to do this more.
Yeah.
Open up with you, open up with other people. Tell that the story doesn't even have to be something dramatic, right?
Definitely.
Or something that's, I'm a millionaire now.
Yeah.
Everybody can relate to something.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just fall away from a simple conversation, man. And you know what I mean? And that's what I like I was telling you before this recording, man. I just really try to have a conversation with people. I feel like when you have a conversation with somebody, you have no idea where it's going to take you, especially with somebody that you don't know, like me and you.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now we have something alike, because that I just identified, because I got to tell you, I kind of found my purpose, and I'm 32.
Okay, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? So we're kind of in the same boat, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just crazy that I think a lot of people are kind of just overlooking that conversation, and it has to be in person too, man. Right? I mean,
this is the thing with the internet nowadays too. This is such a blessing, but yes, you cut yourself off from the world.
Yeah.
Right. So now people don't even want to approach you and have a conversation with you in the bar. What they're gonna do is they're gonna try to find you.
Yeah.
First. And be like, oh, wait, I know this person. Oh, wait, let me get to know this person first before I get to know this person.
Yeah.
Then you're already judging them.
Yeah.
Then you're already not even wanting to, be in tuned with the conversation and stuff, because you already know the person.
Yeah.
How much more can you get to know somebody if you already know them over the internet?
Yeah. And what's great, it's kind of like you go to a party and you see somebody there, and then who knows, that person hits you up like, oh, hey, I think I saw you at so-and-so's party. And, you start a conversation there, but in your head, you're kind of like, wait, so why didn't we talk at the party?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, it's a little mind-blowing. I think everybody just goes through this phase of really focused on what they're trying to do with their life, all the struggles, everything, and they just kind of miss that opportunity. I see it as an opportunity.
Well, no one wants to take a risk either anymore.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's hard. Like right now, you're taking a risk. Taking a risk on people judging you. Yeah. People talking about you. And then you got your good positive sides. Yeah. You got to weigh out those. Yeah. Right? In life. Whatever you do, you got to weigh out those positive and negative, because that's where you find the balance. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Now, is this relationship, what am I getting out of this? I'm getting out of this letting my story be told, introducing myself to a new person that I can interact with, network with, learn stuff about you. Because it's not always about me and my story. You got a story too, and it's about each other and building with each other. Yeah. And in life, people kind of, the money's such an evil thing, for people. And it's always more important than relationships. They're kind of overlooking the simple things that's right in front of them. Right. Right. I'd say what really matters. Yeah. Exactly. What really matters. And that's the parables. I mean, it's a story. That's really what it is. You know what I mean? And man, dude, I'm glad we see eye to eye on that. It's just, it's just crazy that we're kind of leaving that, that world where it's just like, hey, what happened to just talking to somebody, introducing yourself, and you just never know. Well, remember when you were a kid, when we would, like, if I was at the skate park, I mean, how many people go to the skate park? How many people go outside? How many people even? They don't. They're either on their video games. Yeah. They're on the YouTube. But then they're on all these things and they don't make no damn money. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah, that's true. So you're not making no money. You're not healthy, because health is wealth. And I praise that all day long. I'm an MMA trainer, and I teach kickboxing for a living. But, in the MMA world, in the martial arts world, it's more than just you going in there and fighting. It's a lifestyle. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's something that you could teach kids and adults, military guys that are coming back from war, and they got that structure and that brother bond. And everybody needs that. Yeah. But it's who are you going to follow as a leader? Yeah. Because everybody, there's tons of leaders. There's good ones and there's bad ones. Right?
Do you feel, going back to your story, do you feel everything that's happened to you has molded you into a specific leader?
I believe I'm here on earth to be an example.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I feel the same way. That's number 2 right there, by the way.
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah.
Example. It's about being an example. It's about, for me, I try to be, and that's the thing too. With my purpose, going back to purpose, is now I gotta be careful on what I do
Mm-hmm.
and how I do things, and now I gotta take time and look at it from a outside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like if me and you are talking here, and maybe we have a problem, or I gotta look at it from a third person's view
Perspective,
and kind of look at it and be like, okay,
yeah,
take a second.
Yeah,
analyze it.
Take a step back. What happened,
right?
And kind of look at it from a different perspective, because we are such in a place right now where we kind of just judge, right, and we react right away, and a lot of people are not kind of taking that step back, taking that deep breath, and like, okay, wait, why did it happen? How's that other person feeling? You know what I mean? Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm learning that on a.
It's not easy.
No.
Definitely not easy, right?
No, especially because my whole life I've been taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only successful person that I know of in my life, in my family's life.
Your family, okay.
They're all drug addicts, and they're all confused and in a place of where they don't know better.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The leader that they're following is my mother, and my mother is not a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would think it's, if you're a smart person, you would see this person and you would be like, okay, do I want to follow this person?
Yeah.
Is he successful? Why is he successful? How did he become successful? Was he successful by screwing people over? Or was he successful by helping people out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's and can you look yourself in the mirror in the morning and knowing the way you became successful was because you're a good person?
Yeah. You want to be leaded by somebody who's obviously has good morals, right? Is setting the right, you could kind of relate to, but at the same time, you want to, someone you kind of want to be,
right,
also too, in some shape or form, right?
Right. And then in that relationship, you got to, and not every time a relationship is going to be benefit to the both of you, or when you end that relationship, you want to end up on good terms,
mm-hmm.
Excuse me, or when you break apart, just take that good,
mm-hmm.
leave the bad.
Yeah.
With it,
mm-hmm.
in a relationship. No matter what, you got to learn something from life, and just always take the good from it.
Absolutely.
Because or else you're going to dwell on it. You're never going to move on from it.
Mm-hmm. And you're just going to live you're just going to have a toxic mindset, right?
Toxic. And then body too.
Mm-hmm.
And within your body, it's not only your mind. Your mind just runs your body, and it'll
translate into your
everything,
physical
your liver,
state, right?
your stomach, your everything.
Yeah. Let's go back to you were in that tough living situation. What happened towards your early adulthood? Walk me through that journey now.
Well, after being with my father and everything and living that lifestyle, I went back to my aunt and uncle at I think I was 10 or 11, 10.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you went back.
I went back. Okay. So he gave me back because he wasn't able to take care of us.
Okay.
So it's real easy for my parents to drop me off, pick me up, drop me off, pick me up, mm-hmm. lifestyle. And when you're in that kind of lifestyle, you're very confused. You feel unwanted. You feel unneeded. You have no security, right?
A lot of questions, right?
A lot of questions.
Yeah.
A lot of questions. And those are questions that in life, some people never figure out. And for me, it's I'm starting to figure it out, mm-hmm. that I can just love myself, and it's okay.
And that's okay. Yeah.
And that's okay. That's enough. Mm-hmm. Right?
You know what you feel about yourself.
Yes,
right?
This is enough.
Yeah.
And for everybody else that doesn't want to love me or does not want to be there for me, God bless them. Thank you for being in my life. Mm-hmm. And no hard feelings.
Yeah.
For me, when I got out of that, went right back to my aunts. I was back into sports, playing soccer. I played soccer for a long period of time. I was really good in soccer, really good in any sport you put me in. I'm good at anything.
Yeah.
Anything I put my mind to, I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
So sports was very wonderful for me. About 15 years old, I started to, my aunt passed away.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that was my foundation. That was my rock. That was my guidance.
It's like she was your mom.
She was 100% my mom.
Yeah.
She's a mother.
Yeah.
She's a mother. You know, she's someone that I looked up to, that I want to be like. Was in, she teaches Bible study. She brought in kids that she never even knew, try to take care of them, try to show them a good life, and bring them out of whatever lifestyle they were in. That's something that I can relate to, and that's something that I want to do.
Yeah.
When I become more successful, I'm going to open up houses, foster homes, and I'm going to make sure those kids are not getting molested. Those kids are getting the structure they need, the knowledge they need to become entrepreneurs. Because in the school district today, we teach workers. Yeah, we don't teach entrepreneurs.
We don't teach people skills either.
No. Or manage money. Yeah. Money management. You don't teach none of that. They teach you history and shit that you never even use. Sorry for the teachers and everything out there, but they could be teaching things in life that would help them themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they're on a 9-to-5, struggling, depressed themselves, not getting raises, getting money taken and not. So for them, they have no hustle. What else do they do? All they do is teach. Yeah. All they do is give. They don't get. So a lot of these things that people need to learn how to balance that lifestyle. Yeah. You know, there's more out there than just giving. You can make money on the side, hustling and dustling. So at 15 years old, going back to 15, she died. It was a very heartfelt thing. I got into the street life, hustling, selling pot. And from then on, I learned business. I learned how to manage money. I learned how to invest in housing and developing and businesses, and to manage my money. It wasn't every time I got a stack of money, I had to go spend it. You know, people have a hole in their pocket and they don't know, do you understand the value of money?
Is this from other people, from books?
This was from a hustler that I kind of was around. And he was somebody that was a big time hustler when I was growing up, and it was someone that I looked up to.
So kind of like a form of a mentor at that age. Yeah.
And I would tell you, the mentor from him wasn't the whole lifestyle, because he wasn't a very good person. He was more of I found out how to hustle. I found, going back to, you know, I'm a man of, I like to partake in marijuana. So at 16 years old, I was sitting there, and I would have to, I'd hide around the corner, and I'd wait for my brother and him to throw out a joint, the roach, so I can smoke off the floor. You know, this is when I was a kid. That's all I would get. I would ask them to smoke with them, but they'd be like, "Get out of here, little kid." You know what I'm saying? Little punk, you know? And how life changes, you know, and it's just coming from that, off the ground, picking up, trying to get high, and not knowing structure, guidance, and learning, not living with my mother at that time. When my aunt passed away, I came back to my mom, my real mom, and here in Lake Elsinore. And here in Lake Elsinore, I was bouncing from friend's house to friend's house because my mom wouldn't let me live there. She wouldn't let me live there because she had everybody else living there. So I'd sleep on the floor or sleep on the couch. Never had a room of my own, never had a dresser of my own, never had anything of my own to call my own at that age.
And this is your mom's place?
This is my mom's. Okay. After my aunt passed away, I became, my uncle remarried, and he remarried to a bad woman. She was very vindictive, and she was always there. She was there to scan him over, to scam him. Yeah. So she was in the relationship when my uncle would go home, my uncle would go to work, she would abuse us pretty much. You know, not feed us, or, you know, treat us very badly verbally and everything. And we tell him when he get home, he wouldn't listen to us, because men and women they can be vindictive. Yeah. So he didn't listen to us. So I was like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
You're like, it's time.
Yeah, you're not listening to me. I'm your son. I'm here telling you this woman's bad. So a couple of years later, what'd she do? Take everything he had. You know what I mean? Yeah. After that, I was there for my dad because I was hustling. I had a little bit of money. I was able to help him out. So who does he turn to? My uncle. This is my uncle, not my real dad. Yeah. My real dad was still alive at the time. There's a lot in my life, and I could go back and forth, and there's a lot to my stories, and living with my mom and then going from house to house was a struggle, and the struggle was real, and the struggle turned me into the man I am today, and it was my choices that I made. It wasn't all poor me attitude.
Yeah.
It was, I'm gonna be better than my dad, and I'm gonna be better than my mom, and I'm gonna show my aunt that's dead that she raised a good man.
I love that. It's kind of like as if you had a chip on your shoulder, but at the same time you wanted to make your aunt proud.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I didn't want to. As an example, for my little brother, I have a little brother that my mom had a baby with, a man that was friends with my dad in prison, which was, it's just, my mom was there's a lot, man. I could go back and forth and tell you all the bad things, and you could probably relate. Some people can relate and some people can't. But I hope everybody that does listen to this and take something from this, and they can, it could inspire them to not quit, to not give up, to not dwell and make excuses for themselves. That's what I want to show. I think that's what my purpose is.
Yes.
Within life.
I love it, man. Yeah.
And it's so cool to know that purpose.
There's some things that we just talked about, you cannot control, but it's how you take the opportunities you do have and the good things that you do see in front of you and able to create, find your path from there.
Yeah. It's Numberz. I'm going to go back to Numberz, my clothing, and it's going to be more than clothing. It's going to be
Yeah, let's talk about Numberz. I want to know a little, I want to touch briefly on the origin of Numberz.
Numberz is life. Numberz is life. Numberz, you are a number. Your social security number, right? Yeah. You're a number. How many? You have brothers and sisters. You're a number 2. You're a number 3 kid. Whatever. You're a number in life. Energy is numbers. Computers are numbers, zeros and ones. Everything's developed by numbers, in which Numberz is an energy.
I love this. Okay. Yeah.
So Numberz is an energy. Numberz is life. Numberz is why you wake up. Numbers are in front of us. How much time we're talking. What time did I show up here? What time do you have to go on the next trip? What time is your job? How much money are you getting at the end of the week? How much money is in your bank? It's all relevant to numbers. That's what I am. Every time you say numbers, I want you to think of me. I want you to think of inspiring. I want you to think of giving back.
Absolutely.
I want you to think of don't quit. I want you to think of don't dwell. These numbers can get better. Work harder at it. Instead of doing 10 sit-ups, do 20. Let's push it. Yeah. Let's push yourself. So for me, Numberz is everything. Everything.
I love the message behind it. Was that something that you just started?
For me, it was, it's funny. I was in the car with my friend Benny, and Benny is somebody that I grew up with in Rialto, and he kind of seen my whole life and stuff. And I was in a foster home, and he had a good Mexican family orientated. And these are people that I would always go to and surround myself around, because it was a good orientated family. Yeah. And they would eat together, and they would, and we would eat together. Don't get me wrong, but I really couldn't connect with foster kids and foster brothers as much as I felt like I could connect with my friends and their family. You understand what I'm saying? I was always with them. I was always eating with them, going on outings with them, and it was Benny. We were in the car and we were driving, and we haven't talked for 10 years, but then we started talking again, and he was someone that I looked up to. He was probably 5 years older than me, and he let me hang out with him. I was always hanging out with older people too. Yeah. So that's why, maturity wise, I was able to mature faster than others or whatever. But I was in the car with Benny, and I was just thinking like numbers, like everything is numbers. Like, if I'm hustling, it's about, numbers. If I sit down with someone on a business meeting, it's about numbers. Everything is just numbers. And I was like, that's what it is. That's what life is.
That's what life is.
Life is numbers. Life is energy. Life is, that goal, that number, we're all reaching that number. And no one has a specific number, but there's a goal to that. And it's a very high number.
And ultimately it goes back to a number.
Yes. Yeah. Back to a number. Yeah. Exactly. And for me, it's just, that's what I'm going to brand. Yeah. I'm going to brand myself as Numberz, Josh Numberz. And when people say numbers, they're going to think of me, and they're going to think of inspiring, and they're going to think of giving back. And it's not just, Numberz just not going to be a number no more. Yeah. There's going to be more to it. There's going to be more to it.
I love I think I've heard you say running up the numbers, kind of like as if like you aim high or something. Like I
Always.
love the message. Yeah.
Yeah, always aim high. Always
Yeah.
aim high. Like for me, how I have everything, I'm gonna tell you is from The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't really focus on that in the beginning of my life, but I'll tell you, in my 20s, I started to the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't always go back to that relationship wise, and now that I know the energy, and I kind of like bring in the people that I enable, or I also I want to fix. Like I'm like that woman like that has these bad men all the time, and they're always trying to fix them. I'm a very sensitive person.
Yeah.
Like some people say I could cry I cry on the voice. I use that as an example, and you'll hear that probably over and over again. But the voice is just a singing thing, and I could just feel their passion. I feel how hard they work towards that, and they made it.
Yeah.
Boom. Here's the X.
Yeah.
Or here's the they want them. They feel wanted.
And you kind of resonate.
Yeah, I could relate to that.
Yeah.
Feeling wanted. You know what I mean? And then kind of now they made it.
Yeah.
Now they shine. That's for me. That is what Numbers is going to be. It's going to let people be noticed in numbers.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah. Going back to the hustler mentality, I feel like the term hustler has been a little over glorified within the past decade.
Or looked bad upon too.
Because
you got your hustler strip club, you got your hustle. There's things like this that give a bad name.
Yeah.
What
would you really define a hustler? Like obviously we know that hustling could go back to drugs.
And then look at drugs. I mean, all my family's addicted to pills and the Oxycontins and the Norcos and all this stuff, and it's crazy how the government and everybody can kind of see what's going on around them.
Yeah.
And they're so quick to follow that rule. I understand following rules, but in your gut, you know what right is and what wrong is. Mm-hmm. Everybody does, right?
There's a second brain in the gut.
Yes, and then right from wrong.
Yeah.
Growing up, I knew pot wasn't wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to jail for it. I got busted for it, selling weed.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's on every freaking corner.
Yeah.
So that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
That the government can pick and choose when they want to make money, when they want to allow something, when they don't. And supposedly we can vote on it. Us as the people, we're in a free country.
Yeah.
It's not free.
Yeah.
For us, there's a lot of poverty, a lot of people that can't make it, that are just staying at that stagnant level, and they don't have no one helping them out. That goes back to our schooling. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to make a numbers university, and we're going to change lives in numbers. Mm-hmm. So that way when people come to this school, the university, we're going to teach them, you might not be good at reading. You might not be good at writing, but damn, you're good at fucking throwing a football. Mm-hmm. Damn, you're good at sports. So now we're going to push you in that direction. Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure you're good and you want to be successful in that. And we're going to make sure you're going to be successful in that. Yeah. We're going to guide you to that. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be on you after high school. Mm-hmm. No, we're going to look for a team or a college to put you in. We're going to guide you and every other person in that school. We're not going to be like, oh, he's a football player. Let's look at him more. Yeah. Like right now, you use people for what they're good at in life, right? Well, why can't you do the same thing in school? Right? Yeah. Why can't we, when they're graduating high school, put them in a direction what they were good at in high school?
It's kind of like they just let them loose after that, right?
Here you go to the world, and
they're not prepared for it.
They're not prepared for that.
Definitely.
There's no guidance after that, and then you need to go to college, and then you get in debt. Mm-hmm. Now you're in debt. Can you buy a house? Mm-hmm. You can't even get a job for what you went to school for. Mm-hmm.
And now you're struggling. You gotta make
ends
meet.
Depressed. No motivation.
Yeah.
Mom and dad, told you to go to college, put you in that position when really you're working for me that never even graduated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's sad. Yeah. And then you're looking at it like, damn, this guy never even graduated. He's successful. How come I didn't do that? Yeah. Well, because you wanted to follow the rules. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's a right and wrong. It's wrong to shoot someone in the head and kill him. Mm-hmm. Even if they raped your sister. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
Right. So for that aspect, it's like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
But yet so difficult.
I think. Well, one, everyone's different, right? Everyone has their own path. You know,
Mm-hmm.
someone might like that route, right?
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think we're not given enough options.
Yes.
And then it all goes back to our conversation when we talked about perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we giving these people that perspective so they could consider these options? You know what I mean? And
like give them the chance.
Yeah.
Because that's chances. We go back to chances.
Yeah.
Everybody got a chance in life. They could have. I came from a bad family, a bad situation, and look at where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Why can't I do it? Yeah. I'm no different than any other human being. Mm-hmm. I bleed just like you. I cry just like you. I have feelings just like you. Mm-hmm. I'm no different than you. Yeah. Plus, my life was maybe even harder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what is your excuse? Yeah. Oh, you didn't want to take the risk. Or you didn't want to invest the money. Mm-hmm. Or you don't want to be in debt. And this is another thing in life with entrepreneurs and everybody. They don't want to be in debt. It's like, what do you die with? Mm. You take all that money and that credit and that bank with you? You don't take none of that shit with you. Mm-hmm. What you take with you is your legacy, as in who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. The money and the finer things in life's irrelevant. It's not going with you. When you go and you die and there's people at your funeral, they're not going to say, oh, he was a rich, stubborn, whatever. It's going to be, nah, man, this guy was there for you. He was inspiring, Mm-hmm. How do you want to be left as? Yeah. As a person? Definitely. And right now we're writing a book in life. For me, all the people in my life are going to be in that book. Now, I'm going to tell the truth as the best ability as I can. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's my story, his story, and the truth. But for me, I know I'm an honest person. I know I could say when I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. So my book is, and everybody around me is going to be a part of that book. You're going to be a part of that book. Everybody is. Mm-hmm. So how do you want to be represented in that story? Yeah. You know what I mean? Are you going to be the good guy? Or are you going to be the bad guy? Absolutely. Are you going to be someone that helped, motivated, was there for me in the tough and the good and the bad and all the struggles and everything? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to be someone that took advantage of me and use me as a tool so they can go on their way? Yeah. And it's kind of like, here lies Josh, who ran up the numbers, or here lies Josh, changing. I think he had a Ferrari. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. Like what? Me, Numberz is going to be forever. Mm-hmm. When I die, it's going to be there. Because there's going to be a foundation. Because I started a Water is Life Foundation. Well, Water is Life nonprofit, not a foundation, sorry. It's a nonprofit. And I'm going to do that too. I want to go give water. I want to give water to people because I'm a very a connoisseur of water, as you could say. You know what I mean? And I love water. And I love giving water, to anybody and everybody. I give. This is just the other day, there was 2 guys in front of a Juice It Up or something and a Nectar. And I was going in there to go get a celery drink because I drink celery every morning because it's supposed to detox your body and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I went in there to go and buy a celery, and I see 2 guys that live in the street right in front. And I stopped there and I asked them, I said, hey, you guys want anything from inside? One guy was like, no, I'm okay. He was like, I'd rather, maybe get a couple bucks for some food. I was like, all right, I'll think about it, And the other guy's like, yeah, let me get something to drink. I was like, all right, cool. I get him something to drink, and I come back out while I'm waiting for it, and I'm talking to him. And I'm like, so what's going on, guys? How you guys doing? And they're telling me, I was like, you guys live on the street? And they're like, yeah, we live on the street. One guy, and I was like, it's choices. They want to live on the street. It's not something that forced them into that. Yeah. This is where they want to be. That's a common misconception, by the way, right? Very, very much so. So now people want to judge him on that behalf, right? And he was just saying how thankful he was for me to even sitting down and talking to him. Mm-hmm. Like that meant more to them than even the drink. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And for people, they don't give people the time of day because they want to quick to judge when they ain't even Jesus. Yeah. And they're in no position to judge. Mm-hmm. They're in no position to give someone a bad look or because they smell bad or whatever. This is their choice. Yeah. Doesn't mean you got to treat them any different. Mm-hmm. The guy that was his first time on the street. One guy's always been living on the street. The guy that barely went into the street, he had a daughter and he was waiting on his daughter. His wife was getting her and bringing her back to the spot. And what I did is, I'm a wealthy person, but all I gave him was $15. Mm-hmm. And I said, I want this $15 to go towards buying your daughter breakfast. It was Sunday morning and I was on the way to church too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not why. And I didn't post it on the internet. And I'm not like, look at me giving back.
Hey, this is what I did for. Yeah.
I don't need to do that shit. You know what I mean? For me, I know the type of person that I am. Yeah. And I ain't got to prove it to you or anybody else.
Yeah.
The only person I got to prove it to is when I'm dead.
Yeah.
And the person I got to approach when I'm dead.
Yeah.
Which could be Buddha, Jesus. I don't know. I don't know what he looks like, but there's some higher power out there, something better for us to look forward to.
Yeah.
When we look forward to that and we got to answer that person,
mm-hmm.
I want to have a clean slate. I want to be able to be like, I tried my best on helping people out and being there for them and setting a good example. That's why I think I have what I have.
Yeah.
That's my hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah, that's my hustle. My hustle is giving back and
mm-hmm.
seeing what I can get in return from God.
Mm-hmm.
As in not from that person, because I'm opening a door for this person or giving him that little bit of satisfaction on being there for him, or giving him the $15 to go have breakfast with his daughter, and he starts crying. Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them. One starts crying because I'm just giving him some type of acknowledgement, knowing he's struggling, knowing that I came from nothing. I told him a little bit about my story and where I came from, mm-hmm. and why this is a choice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Dude, that has to be probably the best answer I've ever heard of what hustling and means.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. I love it.
Yeah. That's real life, dude.
Yeah.
That's how I am. That's my hustle, dude.
Yeah.
It's how many lives can I change?
Yeah.
So my life can change.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about MMA. So let's talk about how you got into that. I find the fighter mentality is very unique. Walk me through that story real quick on how that journey began.
So that journey began when I was I think 17 or 18 or 19. I was kind of a heavy set kid. My dad died at 600 pounds. 600 pounds. Everybody on that side of the family either had bypass surgery or they still are obese.
Wow. Okay.
So they're lazy. They don't eat healthy. Mm-hmm. They're very unmotivated people. For me, I had to find something that I can connect with where I can lose weight and I could be motivated doing it. Working out at the gym I could only do that so long.
Yeah.
I started training and I started getting really good at it. And like I said, anything that I do sports-wise, I pick it up real quick and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I got like a rhythm. I know rhythm. I know beats. That's something for me that's artistic.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm very good at that. And so I was a little bit overweight, and I went to MMA. I started at, what was the gym called? It was in Temecula. I forgot. And that was the first time I was introduced to Lorenzo Rodriguez, was a 6-time world kickboxing champion, and he was a very good teacher, mm-hmm. but known as a kind of a con artist.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like trainers and coaches, how they make money is by private lessons.
Yeah.
Holding pads.
It's like private training.
Yes, pretty much private training. And that's their income. And that's the only income. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's kind of sad because they kind of like take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. So when you come into a class, they don't teach you everything. They'll hold stuff back. So you'd want to get a private lesson.
Yeah.
For me, I guess knowledge is everything. But I think how you treat it and how you treat people with it mm-hmm. tells you who you are as a person. But anyways, going back to that, I was losing weight and I was getting really good. So I started fighting. My first fight, I fought a firefighter. And he was taller than me. And that experience, you could never really explain that feeling on going, because I fought in the street growing up. Mm-hmm. You know, raised in Rialto and around San Bernardino. I was a minority there, so I was always fighting my whole life, getting my bike jacked or people robbing me because I was the only white boy around. So I was fighting then, but then I got into the martial arts and I kind of learned the self-defense behind it and the the lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who you are as a person. And I was learning that, and I was getting good. So I fought, and I fought 7 fights. I fought 6. I won 6, lost 1, which is crazy. Is when I first started dating my girl, I brought her to one of my fights, and that fight, I got knocked out. And that was the only fight I lost.
Oh, man.
And so I barely started dating her, right? I barely started dating her. And she comes to watch me fight, and I'm trying to show off, right? I'm barely, you know,
Basically, he's saying you're a keeper, right?
yes. Oh, yeah. Very much so. I've been with her for 10 years, and she's been with me through thick and thin, and we're twins,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. If I was to leave her, I'd be 75% a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I already know that. I could, you know, it's just a feeling that I know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of came to the surface where it became real too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I got knocked out. She had to take care of me the whole night. She pretty much had a concussion. She was wheelchairing me around, right, in a wheelchair, because my legs were messed up from the leg kicks, and that was a crazy experience. She took care of me,
Mm-hmm.
looking back at that, and she was there for me, in a barely knowing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that you got to look at in a relationship, right?
Definitely.
Which I didn't even notice then. I didn't even take it into consideration until now that we're talking about it. But moving on from that, I had to fight one more time after that in order to get that win.
Yeah.
I didn't want to not fight anymore and not have a win on my last fight. So I went back and I fought one more time, and I won that one. I think I stopped him in the second round or something. I don't remember, or whatever. But so that was a part of the experience. And so at that time, it's crazy because I had to go to jail for a little while for selling marijuana, and which is around everywhere. It blows my mind. But anyway, so I went to jail, and she stayed with me the whole time, man, and she was there for me, and it was hard. And getting out of that, and when I was in jail the whole time, I was thinking, I want to open up a gym. Like, this is what I want to do. Of course, in there you have a lot of time to think and think about life and think about what you want to do. And so that was what I wanted to do. So right when I got out, I did that. I opened up a gym with my coach, and that became a kind of a sad story too, because money and people, you know how they're very vindictive and take advantage of situations in a negative way. And he was one of them. He did that. He took advantage of me in a negative way, and it was sad to see.
Mm-hmm.
But people told me that he was that type of person. For me, I always give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because I think because I'm different.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it might be different. Maybe
they won't treat me that way.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm different.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to do that to me.
You're not the old partner that they used to screw over. Or
yes.
whatever. Yeah.
And that's how I thought with every person that screws people over.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the same guy as the next guy. So if he's going to do it to you, he's going to do it to me. I'm no different.
Yeah.
I'm just easier because I got that target, because everybody sees them doing it to me. So it's easier for them to do it to me. So anyways, I closed down that MMA gym. I opened up a new MMA gym right next door with a partner. And that's a work in progress. You know, I'm not going to get into that. But is
that Fight Syndicate?
Fight Syndicate,
okay.
Mixed Martial Arts and Fitness.
Okay.
It's a wonderful gym. There's a lot that we got to work on as a gym and as a family. But it's so, like you said, it's always a work in progress. I'm blessed to be able to connect with a lot of people there and build a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
That's a blessing in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me, you know, you got to take the good in, leave the bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Let's talk about. It seems like self-discipline
mm-hmm.
has really brought you to who you are. It seems like it's a huge part of your identity. I could see it being a part of the whole numbers agenda, you know, and what it means. How does someone approach self-discipline? I feel like it's a very hard thing for someone to grasp and kind of practice.
It's crazy because I have people that are in my gym, and I could use that as an example. These men that are coming in and out of the gym, and they're always dealing with issues and in and out of drugs and you know, wanting to come back, wanting to fight. And it's just sad to see the what is going on, like it, and you can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What was it that
self-discipline.
So
Yeah.
self-discipline for me was Zen, taking care of myself. Self-discipline was, people like to spend money on stupid shit. Okay? For me, I would go the chiropractor, get a massage, the spa. These type of things that women do because they're stressed out in work or life because of the kids, because of whatever's going on. They have an outlet. What men do, they go to the fucking bar. They go drink it away. That's their outlet.
Yeah.
Or the strip club, cheating on their wife.
Yeah.
These are their outlets. They're too manly to take responsibility and just go talk to someone about it.
Yeah.
And open up about it. Self-discipline, get a spot in your house, in your backyard, anywhere where you can listen to a waterfall. Get 10 minutes with yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself. Tell yourself you're good enough for whatever it is going on in your life. Tell yourself you can be better for yourself, so you can be better for your kids, for your wife. Self-discipline is so easy. It just takes some time out of your day to put it to the side and just realize that you're worth it at the end of the day. Self-discipline, and for people, they don't want to take the time out. They don't want to even like try to change. That's self-discipline, is changing. Yeah.
It seems like it's more of, you have to, from what I'm getting from you, is you kind of really have to dive in and look at the details.
Yes.
And see where you need to change and kind of approach it that way, right? Like what ways, how can you approach it and attack it to where it's going to, improve you and benefit you?
And that's the thing. Maybe sometimes people have done this so long, it's a habit.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody got habits. We all got habits. One of my habits is wake up in the morning, walk my dog, go on a run, yoga, drink my celery drink, get on Instagram, focus on my clothing, focus on things that I'm looking to benefit in life and move forward in, and build an empire.
Yeah.
And the only way you could do any of those things if you have self-discipline and some type of structure. And that structure and that self-discipline is going to become a habit. And if those habits are either going to be good or bad, it's really what type of habits do you want in life? Yeah. Everybody got it. I try to stay away from drinking and partying. I try to stay away because my problem is I have money. So it's real easy for me to go and party and spend a gang of money on bottles. But then the next day I feel like crap and I'm like, why did I spend all that money? Yeah. What was the point of it? What am I celebrating? Really, what it comes down to. No one has any reason for celebrating. Yeah. Like a very good point of like Gary Vee. Like someone that I look up to is Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, all these motivational speakers that are successful and that give back and that can relate to people and give them some type of inspiration, which is so simple on the internet nowadays. Gary Vee is a totally good example on self-discipline. And why are you partying on the weekend when you're 22 years old and you don't even live on your own? Why are you at the beach if you can't? Why are you at the beach? I
saw that episode actually.
Yeah, why are you at the beach if you can't afford to buy the beach?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, or if you don't want to buy the beach, are your bills paid while you're there? Yeah. Are you struggling? Can you be there? Do you have the time to be there? Do you have the time to vacay? Yeah. Like this is the self-discipline. Yeah. And no self-discipline, no structure, no healthy life.
It sounds like what you're saying is you need structure and self-discipline to really get that better version
of yourself. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And everybody wants to be better with themselves. Everybody wants to look good. Yeah. Everybody wants to feel good. And you can't look good unless you feel good. Yeah. It starts with feeling good within yourself, giving yourself the motivation to get up and start running. Not giving yourself excuses why I'm fat already and I don't want to change. And you just keep on going down that road.
That guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Which is so sad. It's crazy how my energy, I can kind of look at old people and look at someone that's hurt and my body hurts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if I hurt,
it's like that energy from that person kind of comes to you, right?
Swear, I don't know what it is about it, but I can see somebody crying or hurting, like in in like if I'm with them,
Yeah.
like an old person.
It's like those nonverbal cues or
Oh
something,
yeah,
right?
and
And
then
then
my
the
body
energy.
just aches for them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I just want to do something for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, it's different, it's unique, which everybody has a piece of. They just got to find it.
Yeah.
They just got to find it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy. It's so, especially with the internet nowadays, people don't use it as a good thing. They use it as a bad thing. It's either for women and you're pretending to be something you're not.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to be yourself when everybody wants to be Kanye West and Jay-Z and everybody. You could be them, not them. You could be yourself, but in their positions.
Yeah.
Why can't you have your own empire?
Yeah.
Everybody can,
Definitely.
you know.
We're gonna be running out of time soon. I do want to ask some things about you because man, this is just amazing. Your story and kind of everything that's led up to where you are. You seem to be in a leadership role now. You're doing. It seems that with this university thing. Man, I love it. See, these are things I didn't know.
Right.
Um, what would you say is probably like, I don't know, the grand picture for Josh Numberz, man? I mean, it seems like you're kind of. It seems like you have a lot of things you want to accomplish.
Oh yeah.
But at the grand scheme of everything, at the end of the day, what do you think is the big picture?
It's not even, and you know what? I just went and saw an energy reader, and she was telling me that a lot of positive things, but a lot of things about my family and stuff that I gotta fix. I gotta forgive my mom, my dad, and all these things, and for all that, the energy,
Those broken relationships.
the broken
Yeah.
relationships, and I gotta say I forgive you and move on, and she was telling me that it's not about what you're going to do in life. You're going to be so successful, but it's not even about the money. What it is about is the journey there for you,
Mm.
and also trying to I'm trying to, how do I put it? Just on the tip of my tongue, like overcome, not overcome, but it's not about the money at the end. It's about changing things, about three-dimensional stuff. I'm like artistic in a lot of ways, and it's always trying to upsource something. I'm always trying to beat something. It's a venture. It's just the journey. It's the
Seems like the word to try maybe like pioneer something. Maybe,
yeah,
or
like
innovate.
Yeah, see how far I can go.
Gotcha.
You know what I
Exceed
mean?
your own expectations.
Yes, there we go. Exceed my own
See,
expectations.
man, dude, we got a lot in common.
Yeah, that's
I'm the same freaking way.
Yeah, that's for me. That's what she told me. She said it's not about the money. The money's gonna come. I'm successful as it is. I own a couple houses, a couple businesses. I'm opening up this. I'm probably gonna do a restaurant right here in downtown Riverside.
Nice.
It's a sandwich spot in an antique store. I'm doing my clothing. There's just a lot of things, and I'm opening up another little facility to do this Beamer. It's called Beamer. It increases your white blood cells, which is health. People that have diabetes and that have cancer, and this is all things that it helps with. But I'm opening up a facility for that because I want to see I want to see people heal.
Yeah.
I want to see people be healthy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's my journey, is just changing people in numbers, changing their lifestyle, or changing the way they look at life, or
it's back to numbers, man.
Back to numbers.
Yeah.
Everybody's a number, and if I could change a lot of that, and in my clothes, and the reason why I want to do clothes is when they're wearing my clothes, they feel inspired. They feel like they can inspire. They feel different about themselves. It gives them confidence. You know what I mean? There's more to it, and it's gonna be a high-end clothes. But that high-end clothes and people purchasing that high-end clothes is gonna help me give back to the people that can't afford those clothes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to do different things, and I'm gonna do it regardless.
Yeah.
If they sell, if they don't sell, I'm gonna be a good person. I'm gonna give back.
Yeah.
Just as matters how much can I give back.
Yeah.
Now these businesses develop and they grow into big things, and I want to take a shout out to Enrique Ochoa and Lisa for Numbers, for helping me out and pushing me, and there's some friends. My girl is Nikki. She's a very inspirational person, is always there for me and pushing me. And, Joe, and there's a lot of people, even Create What's True. Shout out Create What's True that, did a lot of my videos and was there for a lot of time. And Kurt, and there's people in my life, Bo, and there's people in my life that I'm not going to mention, and I don't have the time to, but there's a lot of people that I got to take the good in and leave the bad. Mm-hmm. And then in that experience, I'm blessed.
Like you still want to thank them.
I still want to thank them.
Because it still made who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not going to change that. They're not going to change me because why this happened or why this went this way. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing.
Dude, I love it, man. Josh Numberz, I appreciate you coming on the show. I don't know if you watched any of my past episodes, but you got to sign the infamous canvas.
100%. That's going to be worth numbers.
I love it, man. Dude, Josh Numberz, a true IE native, a true fighter,
yes,
a true hustler.
Yes, sir.
It's a privilege for you to share your story with me.
I'm thankful and blessed, bro. Appreciate you having me.
Do me the favor for everybody, because again, I'm about making an impact. I know your story especially is going to reach, an audience.
Yes.
Where can people find you? Where can people contact you?
I'm at Josh_Numberz. I'm going to be launching soon Numberz clothing on Instagram. For everybody out there, please support, because I'm going to tell you right now, the money that I do make and everything is going to go back towards veterans. And I'm going to make a shirt just specifically for them. And whatever purchases from that shirt is going to go back towards veterans. And there's things that I want to do to give back as I grow this empire of mine. It's going to be, Numberz empire. And we're going to change people in numbers. Mm-hmm. So just Josh_Numberz, please come support, and I'll support you. God bless everybody. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, man, no problem. Josh Numberz, everybody. Hey, Parables Podcast. Again, we are on YouTube. As you guys know, if you're watching otherwise, for pure audio, we are on Spotify, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, Castbox. Man, there's so much. For all you Alexa users, we're on AnyPod, TuneIn. Check us out. Please follow, subscribe, leave a rating, reviews. If you know of anybody that any particular episode, especially this one, could impact, please share it with them. And guys, also, if you guys are listening, take a screenshot and tag me, tag Josh.
Please.
Because we would love to know how this episode has impacted you. 100%. It's making an influence on you. Parables Podcast, Josh Numberz. I appreciate you, man.
No problem, brother.
Parables Podcast, we are out.
Peace.